Hi guys, it's Viper DWA, and today I have a crazy story on how me and my mate dropped fake tabs of acid, so let's get into it. So this story takes place last year in May. I go up to my friend's house, we're just smoking weed as always, but prior to this, for the past couple months actually, we have been speaking about dropping acid together. We've just never had the opportunity to do so at this time. But he informs me his cousin, who literally lives up the road, has acid that we can go ahead and buy. But we had a bit of a dilemma. You see, we had been smoking all day, so we were nearly out of weed. And we had 20 quid, I think it was, and we could either use that to buy a 3.5 or buy 2 tabs of acid. And none of us could actually decide on which one we wanted, so we made the stupid choice to flip a coin to decide, are we getting acid or are we getting weed? And the coin spoke to us, and the coin said, tonight you're going to be dropping tabs of acid. So he hit his cousin up, picked up the acid, and then we just had to wait for his grandparents to go upstairs, go sleep, so we could go down and trip absolute balls together. So after waiting for a bit, the time finally comes to drop the acid, and my friend's making us food before we trip, we eat, and then we drop the tab. Well, actually, he dropped the full tab. I only dropped half at the start because I was nervous. And we're waiting for a bit. I think an hour goes by, and we're not feeling shit. So I drop my other half. Another half an hour also goes by. And we're just talking about, all these YouTube stories are fake, like acid is shit. So we decide to smoke the last bit of weed we have. And this is where the story gets good. So 5 minutes after smoking, this fucking acid hit me like a truck. Now, a little side note, weed can make a trip more intense rather than it being calming, so yeah, bear that in mind, but at the time I didn't actually know this, and it was quite a mistake in some ways. So anyways, we smoked the joint. About 5 minutes later, like I said, it hit me. Now, I can't actually remember my first visual, but when I saw it, I was sat down on a chair, and I just started shaking uncontrollably. I stand up, I splash some cold water on my face, I sit down and I'm trying to chill out, just trying to relax. But I can't, and so my friend looks over to me and says, I'm putting Bob Marley on, like everyone chills out when Bob Marley's on, you'll be good. So we put Bob Marley on, and this is where I panic. Right, I'll put a picture up for reference. We put a song on, it has a picture of Bob Marley and this background on. So we're listening to the music, and my eyes go from the TV screen to the wall next to it, and I kid you not, I saw millions, I'm not exaggerating, millions of Bob Marleys were covering his wall in little squares, and this scared the shit out of me. I looked at that, my heart started racing, I was sweating, I was shaking, and I didn't know what to do because I couldn't just sit there and, be shaking all night. So I proceeded to stand up, and I'm pacing up and down the kitchen. And what I would do is, I was repeating the same process. So I'd stand up, pace up and down the kitchen, sit down, start shaking uncontrollably, stand up, walk up and down the kitchen, sit down, shake uncontrollably. And I have no idea how long this process actually went on for, but I know it was quite a while. So my friend is just watching me freak the fuck out, walking up and down, and this is where I have a gap in my memory. So all of a sudden, the next thing I remember, I'm sat down in the bathroom, shaking uncontrollably. I've got YouTube on my phone trying to calm down, but I'm just in that bathroom not having a good time. And I have a Randy Orton top on, and it has this green on it, and I would look down on the green and it would come off my shirt and start spiraling into both my eyes, kind of blinding me in a way. And that also was just freaking me the fuck out. Everything was breathing, moving. It was very intense. It was definitely kind of like a sensory overload. So anyways, I'm sat in there absolutely freaking out. I don't know how long, because to me, it felt like I was in there for maybe an hour. But my friend says I was in there for 2 to 3 hours. And at one point, he did actually come in and check on me, which once again, I can't remember this. But he said he came in, saw me sat on the floor, and he said I was being a bit creepy because I was sat against the wall, just staring into space, shaking. And he said that he asked me if I was okay, and I don't think I answered him. So yeah, you can imagine how weird that would be. You're walking on your friend just looking like a fucking psychopath. But anyways, time went on. Once again, another gap in memory. But for some reason, I'm focusing on my breathing. For no reason, I can't remember why. It was probably because I was anxious, is my guess. But I'm focused on my breathing, and this was a very bad decision because the more I was focusing on it, the more it sounded like a machine. Like, it felt like a machine in hospital was doing the breathing for me, and I wasn't getting enough oxygen from it. It's just the way it sounded. It just sounded like a hospital machine was trying to breathe for me, but not doing a good job. So once again, I'm in a panic, and I finally leave the bathroom. I run out, and I'm like, bro, you need to call an ambulance. Like, I can't breathe. And luckily, he said something that completely turned this dogshit trip into an amazing trip. He looks at me, and I think he was just fed up of me being paranoid, which I'm glad he was, because he just says, shut up, you don't need an ambulance, stop being a pussy. And for some reason, this actually turned my trip around completely. I kind of came out of my shell, I guess you could say. Once again, there's a gap in my memory here, but I remember we were talking after he said this, sometime after, and I'll just lie on the floor, I'll look at him and I'll go, he touched me, and just point at nobody, and I start laughing my ass off uncontrollably. Then I'm getting up, I'm talking a bunch of nonsense. I can't remember what I was saying, I just know I was talking so much shit that night. In between every sentence, I would start cracking up laughing non-stop because I was really fucked up. And then eventually he let me put a song on, so we put Mr. Brightside on, and I was just dancing around, laughing, singing. My friend got videos of me, which I'm not going to show because it's really embarrassing, but there's a video of me with my top off. I'm swaying side to side, and I'm like, hello, happy clock. Literally just talking to the clock, which is weird because whenever I'm high from weed as well, I always fixate on clocks. I don't know why it is. I've got a weird obsession with clocks, it seems. Anyways, moving on. So I've gone from having a really bad trip to a really good trip. But if you know about acid, well, in this case, fake acid, which we will get to, it lasts a long time. We were tripping for maybe 12 hours, I think, maybe more, maybe a bit less, but it was a very long time. And eventually my friend got fed up of me because I wasn't shutting up. We would put TV shows on, I'd be laughing non-stop, just not shutting up, getting around, dancing, doing stupid shit non-stop. And he was just trying to relax at this point. So he goes upstairs to actually go sleep. And me being so out of it, I follow him upstairs, look at him trying to fall asleep, and burst out laughing uncontrollably. And he just looked so disappointed and fed up. And he was like, nah, you know what, I'm not even going to bother trying to go sleep. So he gets out of bed, walks back down the stairs. I think I mentioned this is about 5 a.m. And I follow him back down. And he just looks at me with a look of just, fuck off, man. I just want to be on my own. I look at him, say his name, and then I just start laughing uncontrollably again. And I don't know how much longer this went on for, but I just remember I couldn't stop laughing after my trip went from bad to good. But eventually it hit about 8 o'clock, so we had to go up so his grandparents didn't come down and see us. Well, at least see me, absolutely fucked up. But by this time, the trip was definitely calming down quite a bit. I was still high, but the visuals were very minor. Like, the colours were vibrating, if that makes sense. I remember the fridge was still breathing. That was something persistent throughout this whole trip. The fridge was breathing. Anyways, we go upstairs. He has a sign, and I'm just fixated on this sign. Not because it's really intense anymore, but the letters are kind of moving, the sign's getting larger then smaller. And my friend looks at me in disbelief. He's like, how are you still tripping? Like, it's been so long. And I'm like, I honestly don't know. But we spend, like, the come down, I guess you could say, just chatting shit, having fun, having combos. And yeah, eventually it gets time where we're crashing very hard. And I just want to go sleep. But my mind is still kind of racing with thoughts, so I can't get sleep. And it brings me to the verge of tears, actually, because I was so desperate to get some sleep at this point. And the way I've always explained it since this experience is like, you've been on a roller coaster for 12 hours, just getting absolutely bashed around. That's the only way I can really explain this experience. It's like being on a roller coaster, getting absolutely bashed around non-stop throughout the whole experience. So yeah, you are very tired when you come down. At least I was very tired. Luckily, eventually I did manage to get some sleep. It wasn't very long. It was about an hour's worth of sleep. I woke up, and on top of all this, I lost my fucking vape. So I went home vapeless, tired, probably looked like I just, was in a war zone, looking like I've got Vietnam flashbacks or something. But for the most part, it was just a really insane experience. There's no words I could use to fully describe it. There's a lot of gaps in memory as well. But before we end off this video, this is how we know it was fake acid. Well, we don't know 100%, but we're guessing it is. So essentially, we're hanging out with his cousin a couple months later after this, and we're talking about the experience we had, and he says, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, it was actually fake acid." And I was like, "What? It was fake?" He was like, "Yeah, I didn't know at the time. The person I got it from told me." And I didn't ask what it was until earlier this year with the friend I tripped with last year. And he told me, I don't know how true this to be, so some insight might be nice in the comments, but he says to me, yeah, it was M-bomb that he gave us, not acid, which would describe all the emotions and shit he said. But I was like, yeah, but surely acid would do the same, like, it's a psychedelic. And he was like, well, I don't know what to tell you, man, that's what I got told, it was M-bomb. And apparently that's what we did. So whether it was acid, M-bomb, or God knows what drug it was definitely an insane experience. It was a real mindfuck though. I wouldn't go into any psychedelics if you're not fully mentally prepared, because it really does fuck with your head quite a lot. But that's going to wrap up the story today. I hope you guys did all enjoy. Leave a like and subscribe. My next video is actually going to be a trip report, and I hope to see you there.